What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is August 26th of 2017. So as you all know, if you watch my channel, you probably understand by now that I love getting feedback in the comments below my videos and in my live streams about what coin or token I should cover next. And I've gotten a multitude of requests recently to cover a recent ERC20 token that launched a few months back through its ICO and is aiming to objectively change both the browser and advertising industry for users on the internet. And it is no other than Basic Attention Coin, or otherwise known as BAT. So, we generally talked about what it's aiming to do, but really, what is the market that it's aiming to, take over in the sense of utilizing blockchain technology? What are the uses of Basic Attention Token as a cryptocurrency? And then also, is the team and the tech there to deliver on their promises? I want to cover all of those things and much more as we go through the analysis. But as always, if you watch this channel, you know we got to start off with the numbers. So let's go ahead and jump onto CoinMarketCap and look at Basic Attention Token. So we can see here that the market cap is relatively steady. This is a currency that I have no problem investing in because you can obviously see that there's a decent valuation to it, sitting around 200 million. As I talked before, this is trying to tackle the advertising and also competing browsing industry for the web. So if this really does take off, $200 million in valuation really isn't that much. If this could become really the leading platform for user interaction with the web through the browsing technology, this could be a multi-billion-dollar cryptocurrency. But of course, it's an ambitious project, and I'm not making any guarantees on it. So we'll have to keep on looking through the analysis to see if it can really deliver on that. But we can see that there is pretty stable volume on it. Volume has remained relatively steady, actually, since it came out. Definitely not as high as when it was exactly released. There's a lot of ICOs in the market right now. This one's kind of cooled down, though. But yet, at the same time, the volume's enough to where I'd feel fine trading and investing in it. We can see that the circulating supply is sitting at 1 billion Basic Attention Tokens out of 1.5 billion. So definitely a decent amount in the circulating supply, but not enough to where, it's one of the multi-billion-dollar cryptocurrencies in the sense of supply. So I think it's a finite amount to where it could still get a lot of attention in the sense of, no pun intended on that, but a lot of attention and increase in price action, even with a pretty frequent amount of supply. So we can see here, before we jump into a full technical analysis, this is basically held around where its ICO level was. In the sense of valuation, it's actually gone up a little bit. It's gone up around $40 million from its ICO launch, so definitely getting that sense. But comparative to Bitcoin, it's down quite a bit. And we're going to talk a little bit about that and what might be a potentially really good trade or investment in Basic Attention Token. But before we can do anything more technical, let's talk about what Basic Attention Token is trying to do. And just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to say BAT instead. It pretty much, it's the breakdown of Basic Attention Token. And I'm just going to keep it, try and keep it short as possible. But basically, BAT is trying to bring blockchain-based digital advertising. We all know the advertising industry has become over-clustered. It's been caught with not only a lot of middlemen who make it much more expensive and costly, but along with that, there is a lot of malware, a lot of junk ads, a lot of advertisements that really don't attract attention from the user, and it's become a really fraudulent kind of system where there's a lot of problems that really kind of stir people towards using ad blocker. And honestly, I know a lot of you who, a lot of content creators will tell you instantly, oh, turn off ad blocker whitelist. Honestly, quite frankly, I couldn't blame any of you if you used ad blockers, in my opinion. I think that advertising right now has become a very hawkish industry, and it's something that's making the experience on the web a lot less friendly. Then again, it is necessary because it's probably the best way for users to continue enjoying the internet for free. So, how are we going to fix this issue? Not getting rid of advertising, but making it so not only there's transparency in the advertising industry and a lot less ads popping up on our screen if we choose not to see them, but also if we decide to have ads up there and give away our information in an anonymous sense rather than, giving it out to companies like Google who can send it out with our name and all of our private information tied with our activities, can we be rewarded for, submitting our attention in the sense of the browser we're using towards websites and their ad platforms? So that's really what Basic Attention Token's trying to do, and we'll learn a little bit more about it. The one thing I would recommend you do, if you're really interested in learning a little bit about this first and foremost before we continue on the video, check out the Basic Attention Token video on the Brave platform, which is the browser that they've built. And this is a video from Brendan Eich, who is the co-founder of the Mozilla Foundation, which founded the very famous browser, the Mozilla Firefox browser. Probably the thing we all used until we got Google Chrome. It was much better than Internet Explorer, and it still has its many perks comparative to Google Chrome in the sense of privacy as well. And then also he's worked on creating JavaScript. He was the founder of JavaScript. So absolutely, if you're looking for someone with technical experience in the background, you know, Brendan's got it. He's a very big name in the tech space that a lot of people honestly don't really talk about, but he is a big name in the sense of his actual skill set and his past. So definitely look into him if you're interested about him as the founder of the project. But going on to what basic attention token's trying to do, it's trying to be an open source, transparent, decentralized, and efficient platform, doing everything that Google Chrome and Internet Explorer are not doing. So we can obviously see there's three main factors that make up the basic attention token and how it can be used by separate individuals. You have the user, so you and I who are browsing on the web. We have the publisher. This is the person who is actually hosting the website. So for example, my case, in the sense of a YouTube channel, I have AdSense platforms where I can generate revenue for producing ads on my content when you watch or click on them. And then along with that, we have the advertiser category. This is the actual advertiser, the company or organization that wants to use the publisher's platform to get that message out there. So there's really there's three main points and three use cases where the basic attention token can be used as a means of transaction. And we'll start to learn how that can be used by all three parties, whereas you would think it would usually just be between the publisher and advertiser in the sense of an advertiser paying the publisher to use that platform to advertise and gain clicks from the user. It's a little bit different with the case of basic attention token. And if, like I said, after the video, you guys want some more resources, their website has a very nice white paper you can read through that tells a lot more on this. So it's good to understand what's really wrong with the advertising platform right now. The big factor right now with browsers, traditional browsers and advertising, is users are being absolutely over clustered right now in the sense of advertising. It is eating up our battery power, it's eating up our data, it's taking up our time, and it's really killing our experience, at least to its fullest extent, on the internet. We can't truly browse the internet with freedom in the sense of privacy like we used to, because now ads have clustered everything. Now, of course, the internet is wonderful and free for the most part, but our privacy is being violated on a very high degree. And many people, as I've been talking to you on this channel, a lot of people are going to start worrying about privacy, not just in the cryptocurrency space, but in general. So I think that the Brave browser that they use for the basic attention token is going to get a lot of traction. I use it on my phone right now. I actually have the app downloaded on my phone and I've used it and it functions completely fine. And in fact, it's sometimes a lot faster than Chrome because it gets through all of those advertisements. It doesn't eat up my battery as much as Chrome does. And it allows me to, get rid of trackers as well. There's over 70 trackers on large media sites that can truly eat up your phone's battery because they're consistently tracking information on you. And that's quite scary, not to mention the benefit of not having the threat of malware on your device is always nice as well. The second point they really push is publishers are getting hurt. So you can see Google and Facebook take 73% of all ad dollars and 99% of all growth. That's a huge number. You can see that revenue is recently down by 66%. It shows that people are starting to use ad blocker because they're getting pissed off about the advertising industry. It used to be something that was stellar and dependable because it was consistent and it wasn't violating our privacy and they were actually consistent quality ads. But now there's been a lackluster amount of regulation in the advertising industry in the sense of, centralized enterprises making it smooth and efficient. And they've been taking a lot more of the cash. You can tell this if you ask any YouTube content creator where they used to be able to make a decent living off YouTube, they can't do it anymore. It's because Google has completely cut out. Oh no, I'm using YouTube right now. I probably shouldn't be criticizing it. But this is very true right now with Google's platform ever since they've really pushed the adoption of YouTube. They've been monetizing more and more off of the growth of the platform, and they've made it harder for content creators to create content on the platform, namely having to use things like Patreon. And this isn't just to YouTube, this is across the web in general. We can also see that advertisers are losing. So pretty much all three parties are losing. And this is very true. The big point that I always talk about: advertisers lack good information on what they're paying for. This is a big thing when I tell people. A lot of people say, "Oh, e-commerce advertising is the way to go." It's advertising on web platforms and social media. It's the way to go for our branding and advertising. I completely disagree with that. You can do so much more through free social media campaigns by opening up a social media platform like an Instagram profile or Snapchat or Twitter or Facebook, whatever it may be, and being honest and building that sense of community. Same with my YouTube. Have you all seen how fast we've grown this channel? It's by building, trustworthy relationships, being honest, and producing actually valid content that you all trust. In the case of advertising on social media and all these web platforms, I'll be honest, I wouldn't trust much advertisements. I don't click on most of them, and I use an ad blocker. And I think that so many advertisers don't know that they're being put into that bubble, yet they're getting told all these wonderful numbers about how, oh, it's so great, to advertise on social media and all these different platforms. So that's the big thing. And the bots as well. The engagement that a lot of companies think they're getting is not always true. Bot engagement actually sets you up for failure. There was a really great video by Veritasium. I don't mean to segue too much off of this, but I really want to state how big of an issue this is. Veritasium, who's a big science YouTuber, covered the fact that a lot of people would buy clicks on Facebook, and it actually lowers your overall true engagement, and it makes it harder for you to get noticed on the platform because they can detect that there's a large click count for the likes, but there's no serious engagement afterwards. That's the biggest problem with advertisers in that sense. And you can see, like I said, all three people are being affected by this. It's no win-win situation for anyone. But this is where basic attention token comes in, and the Brave browser, which, like I said, I've used myself. It is a fast, open source, privacy-focused browser developed by the same people who have worked on Firefox in the past, namely Brendan and a few other team members who worked at Firefox, and other browser development projects like Tor, as we looked into the team earlier. So there's basically two steps to it. They already launched the Brave browser. You can download the mobile app on your phone. I've used it myself. It's fantastic. Have no issues with it whatsoever, and it keeps you up to date with the information of the ads that it's blocked and how much time it saved you, which I think is fantastic. And we can also see that the basic attention token, the token we've been talking about, has its value in the sense of benefiting all three parties: the publisher, the user, and the advertiser. And once these two come together, it is going to build a marketplace of benefit. And it's all focused around the simple concept of attention. It's all focused on the concept that, look, there are publishers out there who are looking to put advertisers on there, so the advertisers, once they post their ads on the platform, can benefit not only the publisher, they can thank the publisher and they'll pay them a basic attention token for the clicks and feedback that the user gives on their platform, but along with that, the publisher can actually reward the user for using their platform. It's all an integral connection that people can now use the basic attention token for, and actually can do all kinds of different programs. I know that, for example, in the video, Brendan mentioned how publishers could have very tailored content where you can pay in basic attention token to get access to that content. So I think that there's so many integral ways that basic attention token could really become not just an advertising use of currency, but really the currency of the internet and the currency of interaction and attention, which is really what the internet has been about and how it's been able to run over the past few years. So it's interesting to see how this is going to come into fruition. I just love the fact that it's taking out middlemen, it's respecting privacy, it's respecting my decision whether or not, as I use the Brave browser, whether or not I want to generate basic attention token by giving out my information anonymously, or if I just want to use the browser itself. It seems like they're really going for a nice, kind of approach here and really attacking towards the concept of privacy, which, as I've said, is huge. And again, focusing on that anonymity and really focusing on the structure of benefiting everyone and really deciding to use the Brave browser as you please. I think most people won't mind giving their information up so long as it's anonymous. I wouldn't really care if someone knew, my shopping history or my browsing history if I was able to remain anonymous. I think that that's a very fine and valid case, and if it means that I get rewarded a basic attention token for it from people who have worked at companies who have built browsers that respect privacy, I think that that's a big thing. I wouldn't mind generating some basic attention token if they want to, know basic information like my name and age in relation to certain activities on the web. I don't really care about that. That's mostly what most advertising is done for. But the fact that I have the decision to respect my privacy and make that decision on my own changes everything. And I think that's why BAT is a very good competitors step in this space. There's all kinds of information they have here, but I really want to go to the About page and talk a little bit about the team. So as I've been talking about, Brendan Eich, who is the founder of not only JavaScript, but is the co-founder of the Mozilla and Firefox projects that have taken over the internet over the past few years, really leaves a strong leader on the team. But you can also see Brian Bondi as well, who's the co-founder of the browser. The engineering lead has previously worked at Khan Academy, Mozilla, and Evernote. 3 huge names right there. Instantly a good co-founder in my opinion. And then you can see Yan Zhu right here, who has worked at Yahoo, and also the Tor project, another massive browser project in the sense of regards of privacy. And you can see I actually worked at something called Privacy Badger. I'll have to look that up. But you can see, I mean, I could dive into all these team members and try to go through their separate LinkedIn pages, which I don't have the time to do. But you can see that there's people who have worked at large names, AOL, Netscape. I mean, there is just huge amounts of talent on this team that should be respected, not to mention its advisors. You have people who, for Ankur right here, who's worked at Coinbase and Qualcomm, which is a massive conglomerate company. You also have people like Greg here, who is an angel investor previously for Facebook and Google. I mean, folks, this is huge. This is really good. So it's not something to just brush off. You've got a serious team here. Not to mention, you've got a functioning piece of technology. I always tell you all, there's so many ICOs out there who are saying, "Oh, we're gonna develop this platform. Just help us raise the funds to do it." They've got something working. You can go use it right now. Like I said, I use it myself, and I attest to using it in the sense that I love the platform. So, in a fundamental sense, Basic Attention Token is fantastic. It's got everything. The only question is, and this is the biggest limitation to it and why I'm going to actually be critical here at the end, is they need adoption. It is going to have to be at a point where Google and all the other platforms like Facebook and every single inch of social media like Twitter and Snapchat really push the ball, especially browser-based social media applications. They really push the ball on overt advertising, okay? And we're seeing that implode right now. We're really seeing it happen on every platform. And I think that once that happens in its full sense, if Basic Attention Token can get the right media coverage, it can get the right sense of adoption, it could really be a good coin, or in this case a token, for the long term. But people need to adopt the Brave platform, and they need to understand clearly and functionally how the Brave platform works and how they can benefit from using it. I think that that's awesome that the user gets a little bit of a cut in most cases for their information. And it's all anonymous. I think that's fantastic, and it's the step of the future for the internet. The question is, as with every great idea, is there going to be adoption? Well, time will have to tell with that, but right now we can do a technical analysis on Basic Attention Token. As we can see, this came out back in early June. And the price action has luckily flattened out. It stopped selling off from its highs of the ICO around 12,500 Satoshis, but we're down to now about 1/3 of that, at least from its highs from the wicks up here. So the question is, is Basic Attention Token a buy right here? Well, one thing I can notice right now is I applied the 50-day moving average, and as you can see, it just started forming here after there's 50 days worth of price action, and it's been curving very nicely along there. We've been seeing ICOs getting a lot of love recently. And I think as, we've been seeing privacy become a big issue, Basic Attention Token tackles that market, and it makes your browsing experience much easier. I think the thing you gotta wait for here is 1 or 2 big headlines from Forbes or some kind of big, news outlet covering Basic Attention Token, and it really could see some love. I'm definitely considering a long position on this, at least for the short term in a swing trade. I like the price formation of it. However, there's not too much technical analysis I can do outside of seeing that this is obviously riding along the 50-day. And so long as it doesn't break there, I would be completely comfortable making a trade here, buying, some Basic Attention Token, and setting a stop, very close, maybe around buying it here at 4,700 Satoshis and setting one at 4,500 Satoshis. So we'll have to see. I really think that this is a cool project. I really hope that Brendan and the rest of the team behind it can really take the experience they've had from previous projects at Mozilla and bring it over towards the Brave platform and really make a use case scenario for Basic Attention Token. I love the concept. I think we need revolution, a sense of revolution in the advertising space, and I'm so happy to see that there's an ICO that not only has a cool concept but is delivering on that promise through their technology. So that all being said, I'd love to hear what you all think in the comments below. Have you personally used the Brave browser yourself? Do you like your experience using it? Or are you interested in using it yourself? Do you all think that basic attention coin as well will have a use case scenario? Do you think that advertisers, users, and publishers will be able to communicate and use it on the marketplace that they're supposedly proposing with the Brave platform? I'd really love to hear what you all think in the comments below, and if you've got a coin or token I haven't covered on the channel, I would love to do a video on it, so feel free to leave a comment down below, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. But until then, everyone, I'd like to say thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.